able to increase the speed of things. But Latrak, you just take one kill and you can already start pressuring a tower. Night Stalker can just be this frontline aggressor, and it doesn't take long for these heroes to come online. And then we still don't know who TNC's final hero is going to be, if this is a high-tempo mid that gets picked up.
Invoker Man.
Could be
like the TAs that we've seen so much as well. But I don't know if it's not as great against the Tiny.
I think I'd rather just see a mid-lesh if your matchup's fine. A Razor could be a possibility.
Okay.
I actually don't mind a hero like Bristleback. I think if you look at Gambit's issues right now, it's mostly sustained damage output and in the mid game, right? If you hit a timing as TNC where you've got Lesh, Beastmaster plus something beefy, well, how does Gambit actually kill your draft? You have Coddle as well to drop the Ignis Fatus, boom, counter initiate, deals with the Chrono very effectively. I'm concerned for Gambit if TNC look to turn up the gas with their 22 pick. Need something here that has more of like a low cost, low cooldown ability that provide high damage. Something like Lina could work, but it's just, I want something a bit more durable.
A lot of discussion over this final ban. A lot of time being used by Gambit actually in the reserve.
I can see SF as a possibility, some more stacking damage resistance. You really want a BKB hero against Coddle and Lesh as well. GPK is more of the flashy superstar style of mid, so OD is also a possibility. But again, just I'm concerned about a hero that relies on auto attacks for damage output. I'd much rather a mixed damage core that buys BKB.
You don't want something that just dumps stuff in the Chrono?
Well, you can do that too. It's like you need something that does like checks a lot of boxes right now and also is somewhat matchup independent. It's very difficult to ever outlane a Shadow Fiend. Toby, what do you think?
I'm thinking I want to go over there and ask Blitz.
Just 10 seconds of reserve time remaining here for Gambit. They do have the pick straight after, so not a big deal, I guess. They ban the OD and they pick the Quap.
Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't have a disable, but it's low cooldown, high mobility. You can play around with your supports easily, and the CM Aura helps you farm a lot. You don't need to buy a mana regen item. You can just play Dota 2, but here's where TNC, I think it's a dream DK pick.
Yeah.
And all of us, you just can walk down lanes, right? Because Gambit's damage output is, again, very limited until they have a lot of items online.
Do you still feel like that's going to be enough, though, with like TNC's timing? As I know, like everyone else is able to walk down lanes and then just make it like that frontliner, but then you're running into the Underlord, you're running into the Chronosphere. And you have to start playing around like Dragon Form.
What if you have a BKB DK? How do you do anything? Plus, Quap kind of needs to snowball to be effective in this kind of game. It's really difficult because you need a BKB. You prefer a 4-staff hero against Night Stalker, but Quap doesn't really like to buy that item. Yules isn't exactly effective. You could just be stunned as you come down. Night Stalker still has a silence floating around on top of you. It's a relatively difficult game, especially if TNC last pick another stun.
The only concern I have out of that is you don't have that way to get like an instant kill. We've seen these TAs with the big hits. Like, I don't know if you get like a Necro who's then able to like drop the Reaper's Sight. Like, it's something along these lines where TNC has kill potential coming from their mid, because that's what Gambit's going to want to run with too. Queen of Pain rotates, it ends up with a kill, and we end up getting Dusa instead. So, very survivable.
It's really good against the Quap. You just spam Snake on her in the laning phase. Drains the mana more than harass, and you don't get harassed, then outlast it, and eventually start rotating to start doing stacks. It's a different style from TNC.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a very different style. What's on the other side that can threaten that Medusa pick?
They don't really have, they had damage issues, right? That's what I said. And now you pick an incredibly tanky hero with a Coddle behind him.
Yep.
So you're going to give Chakra, that lowers the cooldown on Snake and applies, it's plus 300 mana. That's literally just raw HP for Dusa. You have a Beastmaster as well. Tons of map control. I really like this.
It's a great last pick, isn't it?
It is. I think Gambit need to play better for longer to win this game. One mistake and TNC can just kind of cruise.
Toby?
Yeah, I'm with Kyle on that one. Like, the Dusa feels very unanswered. At the same time, though, like, it feels like Gambit can play that slower kind of pace. Maybe they can weather the storm and the Underlord. What was the phrase that Cap was using? Infinite scaling. Just let them keep building up, and then there'll be one big fight it'll all come down to. So it's that game you don't want to predict the winner of.
All right, good stuff. Time to get into game number 1 then, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your seat. This one could be bumpy for everyone.
One small mistake and Gambit will be on the brink. That's what Kyle is saying from this draft. This last pick, Medusa, seems to be exactly what TNC is going to abuse Gambit's lineup with. Kyle said there was a lack of damage. Do you agree, Blitz?
Kind of. Like, I can sort of see what he means in that, like, no, actually, I feel like they have a lot of damage.
They've got Quap behind a Faceless Void.
Yeah, they have CM, who's like one of the best like DPS 5s. You have Tiny, who has one of the highest burst damage potentials. You've got Firestorm that you can throw into the Chronosphere.
It is still going to be hard to be able to burst down that Medusa, right? I mean, it's
I think you just have to change your item build.
Yeah.
Like Void would have to go Diffusal this game.
Diffusal Manta build?
Yeah.
That's the play for this game.
Like Maelstrom is so value on the hero, but I think that this game, Diffusal is just so good. It's good against pretty much all the heroes on the side of TNC this game.
We are going to have a couple of somewhat unique heroes. I'm not sure if we've seen Shotchlo play the Underlord just yet in this tournament, but we are going to definitely the Swerve was from TNC. Once again, doing the safe lane Night Stalker that we've seen from them many times, but this last pick, Medusa, comboed up with a Keeper of the Light. I mean, that's a really powerful duo by itself. God forbid that that March gets up to level 20 and he gets the plus 300 Chakra Magic mana. Plus the Mystic Snake, being able to cast that twice, that's going to be pretty crazy.
That's so much value, which is why I think the Diffusal is very value for them.
Yeah.
And I think their laning phase has to go pretty well. Like, I could see a world in which Gambit just gets run over, which is what we saw when Alliance and, in fact, Gambit, when they played against TNC in the group stage, and Alliance in the playoffs. And this team will outpace you real quick. And funny enough, KP not going for the boars. Oftentimes we see that. In fact, decided to go for the axes, and I think he's just going to try to trade up with Dream. I think this is a pretty good idea. You're going to force him all the way back and around by chasing him like this. He doesn't have time walk up in time, so he's going to come back all the way around, already a decent start for TNC.
It was definitely a one-for-one trade-off. He leveled axes, then Dream leveled the time walk in response. It definitely seems like Tims and KP want to get full-on aggro against Dream. Our mid matchup, the Medusa of Armel versus GPK's Queen of Pain. How's that supposed to go?
I mean, I think the lane is fine for both sides.
Yeah.
But I think Dusa against all in-cores feels really nice. Get rid of their mana. It's hard for you to ever deny the range creep.
Yeah. So Armel might have the slight advantage here, and that is pretty dangerous because Armel has been a monster in the mid lane.
Yeah. He has won so many lanes that I feel like he shouldn't. And so is GPK. Like, GPK is... This is probably one of the more anticipated matchups in the playoffs for me, just because I feel like GPK has been an absolute beast. Like, he's gone on a tear.
Yeah, I feel like we had this description for when we watched Alliance matchup against TNC, and Armel did end up beating out Limp in at least one of the matchups. I remember the Gyro versus Ember Spirit. He bodied Limp pretty hard in that one. We'll see whether or not he's going to be able to do the same against GPK. Meanwhile, our bottom lane, an Underlord and a support Tiny. Not your classic duo, but it's not a classic safe lane either. The Keeper of the Light and Night Stalker lane. Another hero that can definitely abuse both the extra mana given by Chakra Magic as well as the cooldown reduction. Because Void, when you max it out, goes to a cooldown of 8, and Chakra Magic reduces it by 7. So he's just going to be able to double Void a lot of these times for a hefty amount of burst damage.
Yeah, used to hate that combo just because you would rush Coddle Ags every time, and then you would sort of screw yourself over. But nowadays, it doesn't really matter because nobody goes the Ags.
That's true. There's so many items that are worth picking up on Keeper of the Light because of his 350 cast range talent. Any sort of Glimmer Capes, Force Staffs are the usual, but even late game Scythe of Ice can be deadly. That kind of range of initiation. KP trying to get his range creep secured, and he does so with the axes. FNG, nice dodge. FNG packing a lot of mangoes in this lane because he knows he's going to be spamming out Crystal Nova quite a bit.
KP being against this lane also didn't end up getting the boar early. Thought that the Axes might be a little bit more value against the CM. Once you get the double bore, though, makes it really hard for her. Plus, her mana situation isn't great to begin with, so it's not like you get to trade out very easily.
Yeah. Honestly, I think this maybe should be a trend moving forward, because level 1 boar is just not very good. Most of the time, you just feed it away. It's only when you get level 2, it becomes a lot stronger. An extra 150 health, as well as doubling the damage that it provides.
March gonna get run into by Vampire. Doesn't care too much. Is gonna get tossed into the neutrals. Cute little move by him. And if he does a good job body blocking and he allows the creeps to get him a little bit lower, but Blinding Light is gonna reset.
That'll just mean won't be able to use Blinding Light for a little bit longer. No more regen left for him.
And this lane is gonna be fine, I feel, for the Underlord. This is twice now where I feel like I've seen a pretty good Underlord game.
They're definitely going to need his extra teamfight presence. Gonna want to pipe this game for sure. Nice toss back there into the Firestorm at bottom lane with the Avalanche over the top of the 2, and it looks like March may end up dying here with the Blinding Light, as well as the Void, buying a little bit of space and time. Vampire, he does have stick charges if you wanted to try and go for the dive here, or try and get a toss kill, but sadly, March too far away to claim that first blood. FNG also going to TP out at the top lane, dodging Tims. So first blood still on the table for one of these two side lanes.
It's really hard for anybody to die right now.
Yeah.
You have a Faceless Void that can time walk out. Beastmaster naturally tanky. I don't think they have the damage to kill this Underlord. Gabby shouldn't die either. Really, it's just the supports that'll probably feed up first blood this game. Like Dream can get harassed, but I mean, he's got time walk. It's very unlikely that he ever gets in a position where he should die. So maybe the CM or like Tims gets caught out of position going for the bounty rune or something, or somebody mid really messes up.
Yeah.
GPK to die in this matchup would have to get into some like really irresponsible fight.
It would have to be some sort of all-in play where he blinks onto the Medusa, thinking he's gonna out-damage him. Something weird, but in one more minute time, we are gonna have the nighttime, and maybe that's when Gabby make the play happen. There it is. It's actually KP.
Oh, Dream dies.
Dream, all right.
That is very surprising.
Meanwhile, over the mid lane, Vampire is going to be trying to go for the toss back onto Armel. Leads off of the Avalanche, close enough to get the toss back into the tower range. GPK doing a good job pulling him as far back as possible. He's going to run out of the mana shields here. Is Armel taking up on just that alone? He has a little bit of Fairy Fire he can use as he gets into the trees. A toss of the tree, and that is going to be
didn't
good
get his
enough.
Fairy Fire off.
He didn't pop the Fairy Fire, which might have allowed him to live there.
I think that would have saved his life. GPK doesn't have any more mana. Blink is on cooldown for quite some time. Maybe he just thought like there's no point in it anyways, just because he's so low. But it
Better just kind of reset the lane.
Yeah.
You already got first blood anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Haste rune for GPK, though. That's going to allow him to go back up to full health, full mana, and join in on this 5-minute bounty rune contest. As we can see already, Gambit are setting up, bringing Vampire to the top lane, leaving Shachlo alone at bottom.
And bottom, March is going to get one of the bounty runes. In fact, going to try to go for the second one. He knows that Tiny is mid.
So that's going to be 3 for TNC. And it's so hard to contest Keeper of the Light for bounty runes.
Yeah, the Blinding Light just pushes you out of position. Surprised, though, that Dream died at top.
Yeah, that definitely shouldn't have happened, right? This is more of a harassment lane.
Yeah, this is more just like war hits you. You just show up when you've got your spells back up. It's FNG.
He might be dead here. If he gets hit by the Split Earth, he probably will die unless Dream can help him take up some damage, especially with that bash helping him out. And if anything, Tims could be in a spot of trouble here if another bash comes out. Dream gonna time walk away, but FNG gonna be chased down by KP. He can cut through the trees if he wants to. Eventually, FNG will be found.
Tims is going to back out entirely as Armel gets stunned up, but Vampire doesn't really have too much more for him. He's just trying to soak up some of that XP, deny some wards if he gets the opportunity.
And finds a rune to be able to reset. So an Invis rune at that for a Tiny. That definitely presents some interesting opportunities. Bottom lane, Shachlo will be forced to TP back to the shrine after getting voided and gone on. There he goes. He's going to go for the toss back on the Medusa once again, but there is going to be March coming in. Can he save him with the extra bit of mana going out? That gives him the tankiness to survive through the Sonic Blast, but it's not quite enough. GPK is able to chase him down with a blink. Another well-executed gank from Vampire.
Yeah, really well done with that Invis rune. So mid lane lead going to the Queen of Pain so far. In CS, he's got he has 11 more. He's got 20 denies. GPK further proving himself. Of course, it's not fair to say that Armel lost his lane in the traditional sense. There were a lot of rotations.
Yeah, the advantage of having an Underlord off lane, right, is that the downside is you can't really kill with an Underlord, but the upside is you can move your support around as much as you want.
Yeah, because he's fine by himself. Gabby, with just the help of the Coddle, can't really do anything about him anyways.
Yeah. Max bottle efficiency here. GPK TPs into the mid lane and refills Vampires as well as giving him a few charges of his own bottle. That way, Vampire can just continue to assault this triangle area and see if he can abuse Armel a bit. Failing getting a kill, maybe he can steal some experience or something. Shows up a little bit after the camps have already been farmed up, but at least he can clear through all the mana. But now he's in trouble as Tims has already made his way back. They had a ward laid out defensively, saw Vampire coming in, and Armel just baited it long enough for Tims to get here to claim the kill.
And gonna get the last hit.
Tiny, he thought he was going to be slowing down the Medusa's farm, but if anything, he might have just sped it up.
I really like how Gabby plays his safe lane Night Stalker, by the way. He almost always just chases off the offlaner. We saw that when he played against KP2, right? Or when he played against 33. It was the Night Stalker versus Abaddon. Just never let him get his level 6. Of course, it's not that dangerous on the Underlord, but still, it's how much you know your Beastmaster's getting at the same time.
And no levels of cripplings here, just all in on the Hunter and Knight, all in on the concept of just running at these heroes. FNG, Axes come back, does hit him, and KP will manage to get that kill, thanks to the haste rune he picked up earlier.
Yeah. Aurora expended, but we'll have it up again in 40 seconds.
Okay, Vampire does once again invade that triangle area, get some aggressive wards down, but TNC already had a sentry out, and then when sentry got taken out, they made the call that the ward was placed on the high ground, so they should be able to deward that sometime soon. And they just keep on trying to invade because they want to be able to pressure this tower, but first they really need to root this Medusa out of the jungle area, but she's just too tanky. Vampire certainly doesn't have the levels to be able to support this. Maybe GPK can get a kill onto March, not even bothering to blink forward, just a Sonic Wave will get the kill. Vampire, well, he keeps on finding this Medusa, farming up the stacks, but every single time, Tim's
just protecting him. He knows this is their true win condition.
Yep.
Getting the Medusa farm. Gabby's gonna set the tempo. But the high ground hero that they need to have a lot on him is Armel.
And the idea being is that the Tiny's gonna find the Medusa, and the Claw being such a mobile hero will join him after pushing in the mid lane. But that's where March, he was sitting mid for a reason. He was spamming out the mid lane to prevent the Claw from being able to make that kind of maneuver.
And you also don't want him to take the tower.
Yep. Aggressive push here from Gambit as the 10-minute boundary moves. They're going to lay out that Chronosphere, catching KP and be able to trade out 2 for 2. Now, KP still has the Primal Roar, so he can try and get out of here. They turn back into the river, running into the illusion of Tim's, perfectly baited out, drawing Gambit away from that critical kill on the off-laner KP.
Yeah, and he's perfectly fine. Just gonna walk himself away. He's level 7. He is going for the Necro Book just so that they can all out push, which against Gambit's lineup is not the easiest. They do have an Underlord, but in terms of killing, it's so good against the Faceless Void.
Yeah.
Even your Necro 1 will get the job done. And it's not like Dream has had the best game either. He's pretty far behind in net worth. This Beastmaster, KP for me has been the standout for TNC. Like, he has overperformed on so many different heroes. But this mid kill, they know what the real threat to this game is. It's Armel. You can have a good Beastmaster game, but if you can kill this guy over and over
March, he's trying to get there. Will be able to get his ultimate off as well as the Chakra Magic. The turnaround now as Gabby comes in. They do manage to finish off that Medusa, but it looks like it could be 2 dead from Gambit as Vampire. It's going to be chased down by Gabby eventually here. May not have the mana for a Void. Chakra Magic will be given to him. So they trade 2 for 1, but they're also assaulting this top lane. It looks like they should be able to get it with Beastmaster Leshrac duo.
I actually don't think that's that bad for TNC.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving the hero that requires the best early game start all the gold, and Armel will catch up. Eventually, this Night Stalker is going to be so beastly that he's just going to run into all the engagements for him and set the pace anyways. So giving Gabby this gold is not a bad idea either. He got the streak onto the Queen of Pain and the kill on the Tiny. Got some good levels out of it too.
Seems like TNC, that like same thing with what they were doing earlier with the Medusa and how she was farming the jungle and they kept on getting the kill on the Tiny. They understand that they have this better win condition and they know how to be able to protect it because Gambit, they have to make moves. They can't not make those kind of plays.
I'd say it'd be different if their safe laner got a better start.
Yeah.
With Dream dying and KP having more or less free farm, and this Queen of Pain had so much help and she got free farm and she's still just barely ahead of the Beastmaster in net worth.
Same goes for the other side lane, right? Like Gabby totally free farmed against this Underlord. Shotchlo didn't even walk away with that much farm. He's just a bit behind the Faceless Void.
And KP already has more than 1,000 net worth over this Void, who doesn't even feel comfortable laning anymore. KP's just gonna own this top triangle area.
Like, that's so scary, especially when you're going the Necrobook build, because normally there's this window where Beastmaster hits a really awkward, like he just doesn't really do a whole lot because he's still trying to build up his Necrobook, but since he's so overinflated in net worth, he's gonna come online a lot faster and farm faster too, as a result.
Pretty much got it. What I would like for Gambit to do is make their way towards mid.
They're gonna be able to go for the Chronosphere onto Tim's, who is trying to sit away in the trees, but Dream just quickly pulls the trigger on that Chronosphere as he dives in with the rest of Gambit. Now they're gonna try and take over this mid tower. We'll see whether or not TNC want to respond.
I don't think they can fight this if they just sit here as 4, which they should do. If you rotate this many heroes in, getting the kill on a Leshrac isn't that big of a deal, but grabbing the tower makes the Chronosphere worth it. You brought all 5 heroes to make this play, and the reason for this is so you can open up the jungle, and you don't just allow all the cores of TNC to get huge. You have to take away this tower.
Vampire trying to come in and steal some of that CS, and he does get that big creep, but now he's going to be caught by the hero rotations of TNC. Gabby's going to join him. Gabby, who did not have Dark Ascension earlier. That's probably part of the reason why they didn't try and defend mid lane.
He's going to get his ag so fast, though, and they might make their own move towards mid because KP is so strong. I believe he's got his Necrobook 1 coming in. If they could make this tower trade, they still have a lot of kill potential on their team with the Roar.
If you're Gambit, there's no way you trade this out, right? Like,
it looks like they're going to have to. Your Underlord has to be in a better position for this.
Yeah.
You can't be farming anywhere else other than where people are tower pushing if you're Underlord. That's the point of the hero. Even if you die, you're so tanky that it takes them so long, you usually get some sort of rebuttal. And it's not like he'd die either. He's got a lot of HP with the hood.
Yeah. You need to be there catching the creep wave before it even gets up to the other side of the road.
And the Roar, Necrobook popped.
Well, we're going to see how tanky he is here. He does still have the hood, but he's going to be pulled back in by that Will-O-Wisp, blasted back in as well. FNG's going to be able to get a freezing field out, but they quickly escape that area, except for poor Underlord. It gets tossed into that. Now KP, he does have the Shadow Strike still on him, just a scream, and it looks like he may take out, but he could be denied at the same time. TP away, KP's actually fine, gets the fountain.
Easy, and that was a lot expended too by Gambit.
Yeah.
You bought enough time for Gabby to pick up his Aghanim Scepter in full.
Well, you also bought enough space on Gambit to be able to get 3 bounty runes, so something small going to their favor. But this is going to be a very critical time with the Aghanim Scepter up on Gabby with your level 2 Dark Ascension as well. And the Necrobook 1 on the Beastmaster, they have reached a big peak. They can probably run around as 4. Feeling relatively confident about taking kills. As you can see Gabby go for this one on FNG.
I don't know what their lineup lacks on Gambit. Maybe wave clear or something like that? Or maybe it's just a positioning thing, because I feel like they shouldn't have lost their mid tower so easily, especially during the day.
I think it's
that was a
definitely
big
positioning thing. But, I mean, they've got Quap, they've got Crystal Main, and then the big one's Underlord. Like, they should have ways to be able to deal with these creeps.
Yeah, and they made some errors too when they lost the Void at top.
Yeah.
They just allowed KP to snowball so hard.
Also, Vampire's like really far behind from him trying to like stop the Medusa so obsessively.
Yeah,
He still
okay with
doesn't
that
have his
play,
Blink Dagger.
but the fact that you didn't get to slow down anybody else,
Yeah.
your own game was hampered so much, and it's really Gabby that is going to set the pace of this game now. He's going to just run in really aggressively, farm out wherever he feels like, and he's going to create like a shield. So you have to get past him if you want to get to the Dusa. Him and KP can just play really aggressively, force 4-on-5 fights, and they'll be perfectly okay with that. Like, they're getting a lot of map control out of this. Allow your Dusa to pick her spots and just run forward at that area.
They feel strong enough, they're doing the extra greedy play, which is March is defending the bottom tower while they take that tier 2 atop lane now. Vampire is gonna try and root this March Keeper of the Light out of the trees, but fortunately he hides at the right time. They know he's somewhere over here because of the high ground vision that was laid out. Now they see him. Tim's spots him out. Vampire's gonna need to go for some sick avalanche play here, but the Will-O-Wisp will prevent him from making any cool plays. Well, the toss to the side helps, but it only delays the inevitable.
I really like March's use of the ulti, by the way, just pure offense.
Oh, there goes Gabby. Every single time FNG thinks he's gonna be pushing out a lane, there's Gabby, gets him final void.
And he gets the creep wave too. Almost has a full BKB already, Cap.
Yeah.
This guy's so big, and the Dusa, as we predicted, has caught up, so all that early game damage that you did, ganking her as often as you did, you focused on the wrong guy. One will create space for the other. Yes, because Gabby will create space for the Medusa, not the other way around.
Yeah.
She'll catch up. She has so many different farm mechanics to catch up.
Yeah.
They're gonna give her all the space in the world if their lanes go this way.
Especially with how easily they can defend a Medusa in that mid lane, a TP in from a Keeper of the Light. The Blinding Light plus Chakra Magic is like an insane burst of survivability. It's like you just got hit by a mech or something.
At some point, you're gonna run into a position where you make that move and the Dusa just doesn't die anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas the other heroes, I feel like, were exploitable.
Dream gonna be able to get a Chronosphere out with the freezing field. They're laying everything they have to be able to kill KP. He still got out the Primal Roar, but TNC, they don't want to take the fight. Even if it is nighttime, they
That was 5 heroes there.
Just a bit, yeah. That's a little bit too deep on top of a shrine. Chronosphere is down though, so TNC may still be able to force an engagement. They managed to push him back into the silence. A beautiful Blinding Light blast from March, but it's not going to result in the kill. Queen of Pain is too tanky with the strength treads.
They know there's no Chronosphere, so Armel still very far forward. The Dark Ascension has been popped.
AoE Void, they're going to be able to get the toss of the Medusa into the rest of the enemy team, but do they actually want that? Because now she just pops her Stone Gaze, the rest of Gambit have to get out. A beautiful Dark Rift, though. That actually forces so much out from TNC, and all they're going to get out of it is actually a tier 1 tower.
They're so far ahead now.
Yeah.
Inning phase, they won 2 out of 3 lanes quite dominantly. And it's showing right now, they're gonna snowball this game pretty quickly. And Dream has so little farm.
Yeah, he's very far behind. As a Hanamitis, maybe when he gets the Maelstrom, things will start speeding up for him.
And if you got this Underlord, you just have to get aggressive at defending all these tower pushes. Otherwise, the point of the hero just feels so bad. This hero isn't meant to farm anything, I feel, other than the creeps that come into his lane, or when you're pushing a lane out.
Gambit, they just push through here. 20-minute bounty runes are coming up, and they know they're behind. They got to get at least 2 of these. Meanwhile, TNC only going to stick with the Necronomicon level 1, by the way. He does have the Hood of Defiance queued up after this. There's a Maelstrom for Armel. So
Every
even though
offlaner goes pipe nowadays. First item. It's going to mitigate a lot of the damage that Gambit puts out. And then Kyle will have been correct. And they will lack damage cap.
Yep, it's coming. 6,000 net worth lead. Gambit just gonna push back and forth, finding whatever farm they can. They just gotta buy time for Dream to get
Their team fight is still very good.
Yeah.
They just need items on the Void. Once they get items on the Void, their lineup is kind of okay.
Well, maybe they can fight with the Orchid. GPK has that coming in. They can't use it against Medusa because of the Manta, but it will be a useful tool to blow up some of these supports or maybe stop Gabby. Well, I say that Gabby actually already has BKB, of course. So maybe options are a bit limited.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Roche by Gabby. The rest of the team nearby, and Armel Gonna help him out a little bit.
I mean, that is full confidence right there. They don't have a medallion. Beastmaster certainly helps,
nighttime.
but they don't have like this insane Roche-taking hero. They're
They just
still
think they're
going
ahead.
for it. They,
Gambit's not willing to fight them, so TNC is like, screw it, we'll get aggressive.
yeah, why not go for the one objective that almost always people are willing to defend?
Yeah, I almost feel like TNC is inviting them for fights, but Gambit, they're avoiding. They're going to try to play on the late game potential of their Faceless Void, Queen of Pain, and Underlord. I just feel like their cores are worse, though.
Yeah. This is one of those Plan B scenarios, right? This is what you originally wanted, but now you're going to have to play for high ground defense.
I don't know if you
Chronospheres,
really have a
Fire
choice, is the
Storms.
problem.
Yeah.
Fighting into all three of these cores feels real rough right now, considering how good of a start all of them had.
Yep.
Beastmaster's starting to lag behind a little bit, but he's still a lot more than the Underlord does. And the impact that he puts out with his item build, I feel like, is just better too.
Is under attack.
Probably just waiting for Natural Night.
At that point, do you think they're going to push high ground during this next nighttime? Because it
Could
is
see
a
it.
bit of a risk, right?
They really like going high ground.
Yeah, that's true.
I think if they had Pipe, they would do it.
Well, they should have it in time.
They've got a DD rune on their Night Stalker. This could also signal something.
Pipe's rolling out, as is the mech, so those are actually really big team fight items. I think
Okay.
you're right. But first, there's going to be pickoff on Gabby potentially here with the Chronosphere. And once again, the freezing
Let him get his
lead out
BKB
with
off.
It's a beautiful one. Now he's going to get off his BKB, turned around with the silence. And a double
Will-O-Wisp is so
damage.
good.
And now with the control up on this Faceless Void, he's so done for. They're going to be able to get the Void to slow down another two heroes, get those out. The Dark Rift too far away to bail anybody of Gambit out of that situation except for the Underlord.
Armel wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Their most farmed hero wasn't even there, but the BKB gets popped. March and Tim's, their positioning in that team fight was excellent. And look at Gabby just pushed forward, does not care at all. DD rune popped. I'm really surprised that Gambit decided to make that their all or nothing play.
Especially since it was so easily diffused with the Keeper of the Light.
Yeah.
Just a single Will-O-Wisp just stops all that damage. And, well, they will manage to get the toss back here onto Tim's, but sadly, they'll follow through.
I actually think they sort of lack control outside of that Chronosphere.
Yeah.
Chrono never feels good when you're the only tool to initiate with.
Is under attack.
No real stuns on their team. And again, not to bring it up again, but you know, their Underlord, the point of the hero feels neutered real hard. They weren't able to defend their towers out, so now you've just got a hero that doesn't initiate for you. So we're gonna see again the initiation. They saw
That's it
Gabby a
again.
little bit further away from his team.
I mean, he even blinding lighted first.
Yes.
You could have Will-O-Wisp even sooner. I mean, that was such an easily defended team fight right there.
And you're going on the target that has, you can see KP, he's really amped. He feels the win right now.
Yeah.
Normally it's like, the rule is like, you know, chill out, let the game finish first, but you can tell he's getting excited because if they're not winning that fight and the Dusa wasn't even there, your hardest hitter, your tankiest guy with the Aegis, what hope do they really have?
Yeah, what hope do they have when they get to level 20 with a Scotty on Armel? Now, it's no longer that big boost in mana, the plus 800 it used to be at level 20, but it's still with the Mystic Snake cooldown, that is double snakes if he wants it. Or the Stone Gaze duration, which is so hard to fight into for heroes like Void.
Dire's top shrine has fallen.
Natural nighttime is up. We'll see if TNC do indeed try and go for the push in this next 5 minutes.
Pick off by Gabby so far. Looks like
Smart
just
TP
get
away.
the TP out, and GPK is immediately going to retreat off of this. But Armel, the walking tower, is just going to start hitting top now. I think that's the full Scotty flying towards him.
And Gambit desperate to get some pushes in the side lane. GPK is hoping by hitting this tier 2 someone will come back, but no, TNC go for the high ground. They're immediately going to jump in with a nice Will-O-Wisp and the follow-up of a Blink Dagger. from Gabby, managed to get the
Underlord.
silence. No spells are going to return, and Shashlo is going to be going down here from the boar, and Vampire may just be chased all the way to the ends of the fountain, especially with the Chakra Magic, giving her a fresh round of Void. Gabby and the rest of TNC march into the Gambit base.
They're pinging tier 4s.
Yeah.
That's how confident they feel.
GPK, they're saying, like, you cannot keep on going for this bottom lane. You're going to have to come back and defend. They do have the Chronosphere up, but one tier 4 is already down. Gambit, they got to start setting up in a hurry, and if they're not careful, they're going to start dying back on some of these heroes as Gabby tries to threaten FNG a little bit. Both tier 4s down. TNC.
Got to be careful about chasing this because TNC will fight. They won't abandon their Medusa here. The backline still strong, letting Armel sit in front, daring them to go on him. They might not have the roar, but the follow-up damage is still there. They've got the Blink Dagger on the Night Stalker. They're going to safely escort Armel to the shrine.
All right, well, you did get the BKB for Dream, and the Aegis has expired. Gambit, you know, I hate to say it, but you might just have to try and fight into a TNC with a 15,000 net worth lead. I don't think you can afford another salt on the base like that.
Yeah, I don't think it gets better either as the game goes on.
Yeah.
I don't think their cores match up well enough.
Force staff for Vampire. Who else? Just fishing for items at this point, hoping that Gambit have something that's going to change their fate. Otherwise, they're going to have to just roll over as Armel immediately starts targeting GPK, who blinked into that, is going to be forced into a BKB, but just the physical damage. No, he's going to turn on a Dream instead. Dream is going to be able to get his BKB and will be able to time walk it off. The Dark Rift should be able to get everyone to safety.
He's got his Blink Dagger up again. He might just go for the chase. He still has his DE room.
They need the rest of the team. Vampire's going to try and come in with a Force Staff. He does manage to save him. Can they catch Gabby? No.
Not even close, but both BKBs defensively used. GPK thought he had an opening there. Was just trying to get away from the Beastmaster. And now Armel, he does not care. He is hitting this without the creeps, not even really dealing damage to it, but he's just doing it because why not?
Once again, the highlights
They
of
could just
the
wait.
fight is
Keep in mind, they could wait for the Aegis, and they're not going to.
No.
Gabby's gonna break the smoke on this left side. I really like that play. He's gonna give them no opportunities to defend this.
Gambit. What's your way to start this fight? What is the strategy? It's got to be some sort of toss back. I'm not sure if you want to go for the Medusa. He does manage to get the real one. He tried to go for the Manta dodge, but no such luck. They're going to be able to get the Chronosphere onto Armel.
Blind again!
Will-O-Wisp, as well as the Blinding Light, just making things terrible for Gambit. They're going to have to retreat back to their fountain, but they've already lost their two supports. And Underlord stuck here with no damage. He try and fight up against Gabby. No such luck there. They're just going to call it. They know it just doesn't matter if their cores live through this fight. They don't have the damage to deal with TNC.
And TNC is up here just embarrassing good teams.
They're on a roll.
It feels so scary to play into them.
Yeah.
They beat you in the early game when they've got the best late game hero. They're great in the laning phase.
And this is like, this started in the group stage. And the best part is they just keep on giving us little different looks as the tournament continues.
Like,
TNC
oh, you
are
haven't
showing
seen
us,
Nardusa yet?
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll show you that too. You think we're going all in on the early game or the mid game with our Night Stalker? We can still play 4-on-5 and we'll still beat you in team fights every single time.
TNC, are they just unstoppable, or is Gambit going to find a way to come back in game 2? We'll have to see with the panel.
Just one of the many questions we'll pose to Kyle and Toby on the panel in just a moment. So